What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome into our weekly live show where we break down the latest around your Minnesota Vikings, and they could be potentially signing another player. At least Alec Lewis thinks that could be on the table, so we'll break it all down on today's show. But before we dive into it, if you guys love the Minnesota Vikings and want to shout out in the live chat right now, hit me with a skull down below in the comments section. We got Kyle Melander in the building. Cool Post, Big O Beast, Roger Bong in the house, Football Prod, shout out to you, Brody. Christopher Domingo, typing Skull. Roger, feels good to have you back, holding down the live chat, my man. Rocky, Skull for Life, Barber, 1975, and Big O Beast, Munkus, Hassan, Camper, Richard Sherman, what up, Sherm? Randy in the building, not Jesse Ventura. A bunch of real ones in the house. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, but we're going to talk about a couple players that the Vikings could sign on today's show. Alec Lewis is putting out a 53-man roster projection for the Minnesota Vikings, and at the running back position, he had Gus Edwards, and Gus Edwards is obviously not on the Minnesota Vikings, so he clearly thinks there's some, interest there. Pretty bold move by Alec Lewis. I will say if he gets this right, that's going to be pretty damn cool. So Gus Edwards, we'll talk about him, talk about some other cornerbacks, but Dylan, big news of the NFL world today. Jair Alexander going to the Baltimore Ravens, and Dylan, there's a little joke on Vikings Twitter that Jair, he ducks Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison a whole lot. A couple of games last couple of years. He has just randomly missed those games with something going on, and I wonder if he's going to be ready to go for that Week 10 matchup versus the Vikings in U.S. Bank Stadium. But the Ravens secondary got a whole lot better. Dylan, you got any thoughts on this move from the maybe Ravens side of things?
I mean, for the Ravens, it's perfect for them. I mean, you added to a loaded secondary already. You drafted Malachi Starks to complement Kyle Hamilton. I mean, The Ravens are going to be scary next season.
Yeah, no, that secondary is looking legit. Especially like Jair, if he's a guy who is healthy, I mean, he could be one of the premier corners in the league. He can allow Marlon Humphrey to go back into that slot position where he's at its best. And, their safety position's always been loaded. It always feels like the Ravens, they always have a good secondary, at least over the last couple of years. So I like the move for them. Would I have wished he came to the Minnesota Vikings, join another purple team just a little bit, but that was big-time news today. He actually signed a one-year, $4 million deal. Does have incentives to get him up to $6 million. So pretty cheap, but yeah, I've seen some people talk about Adam Thielen on Twitter today, an old man versus young boy generation gap, saying that. I haven't seen anything concrete. I'm assuming Carolina's going to want to keep him as that safety net for, Bryce Young, still a young quarterback. He can mentor like Tet McMillan, Xavier Legette, that Coker guy as well. So I don't really see why they would want to get rid of Thielen. Now, maybe if the Vikings offer them something, but I also feel like the Vikes are more than comfortable with where their wide receiver room is right now. I'm just curious to see how they're going to use guys like Ty Felton. Assuming Jalen Naylor obviously get the wide receiver 3 to start the year, but we'll have to wait and see. I think it would be a feel-good story to bring Adam Thielen home, but I just don't really think that's too likely right now. But we are going to be talking about the Vikes adding another running back on today's show. How do you guys feel? What say you on this one? Should the Vikings add another running back? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comments section. Alec Lewis is predicting that they're going to sign Gus Edwards. Also in his roster projection, he had Silas Bolden making the team, which was a bit of a shocker. He also had Tim Jones as well. As you guys know, Tim Jones, we were raving about this guy last year. Unfortunately, he didn't make the team. But yeah, 2 special teams guys that I think could possibly make it. Again, I would be a little shocked if Silas does, but maybe they're clearly valuing like the punt return and kick return game as they weren't too explosive in that department last year. What we'll see is Munkus is in the building right now. Same with Big O.B. saying trade for Surtain. Unfortunately, that's not on the table. Broncos will not let that guy out of the room, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Stefan saying N for no. Skull for Life saying no. Roger showing love to Munkus down below in the chat saying, what's our safety room look like? The 3 safeties you'll see is Metellus, Harrison Smith, and Theo Jackson. Jay Ward could be a guy that rotates in, but I think it's going to be mainly those 2. And obviously, Vikes run safeties, or 3 safeties on the field almost 100% of the time. So I am a little concerned. Like, if I had the depth at one position that I'm most concerned about is probably safety, even over corner, just because at least at corner you got a guy like Okuda, got a couple UDFAs you like, and Zamia Vaughn and Dwight McGlothern. So I don't know. Secondary definitely could use some more depth there, but yeah, in terms of them signing a running back, I don't think they need to. But also, it's one of those things I wouldn't be opposed to it. Clearly, the Vikings are going to go more running back by committee this year. That's why they traded for Jordan Mason, and I am still a little disappointed that the Vikes did not set themselves up to draft a running back. Also, considering that Caleb Johnson, my guy, fell to pick 89 to Pittsburgh Steelers. That was a guy I was very high on, but we'll see. See what our UDFA running back can do. Stewart from I think it was Jackson State, I believe. Yeah, that guy's a speedster. I just think the Vikes would want a more proven commodity there, since they view this as a Super Bowl season. But if you guys got a question for me, let me know down below in the live chat right now. Hashtag Vikings. Just attach that to your comment. Our software will pull it. Get your name, profile pic up on screen next to me. And also, if you guys want to cut the line, support the show as well. Sending a super chat is a great way to do so. We always appreciate all the real ones that super chat, especially in the dog days of the NFL calendar. Super chatting does go a very long way here. And we're a company here at Chat Sports, and we're just not pulling in as much money as we do during the NFL season. So if you guys want to support the show, super chatting is fantastic, but also no worries either way. But get those questions in there. Hashtag Vikings. Got a lot to talk about. Also going to be giving you guys my NFL division predictions, as got a couple, I'd say, hot takes in there. But as we know, the NFL world, it flips on its head every single season. Vikings are a perfect example of that. Nobody had them, winning 14 games. And we will also talk about Brian Flores, Josh McCown, as I truly believe that they will probably not be on the Vikings coaching staff next season, especially Flores. Now, McCown, maybe. I mean, McCown was interviewing for the Jets job this past cycle. He's also interviewing for the Texans job with D'Amico, as those two battling it out to get that position. But I think McCown, especially if JJ has a successful season, we'll probably see him get a head coaching job. But, a lot of what ifs there. But we'll have to wait and see. Can you re-sign DC? We talking about DC, big old beast. Can't wait for the home opener. I'll be at that game Sunday night versus the Atlanta Falcons. It is going to be awesome, man. I cannot wait. Hopefully JJ can just start knocking out, beat Caleb Williams, drafted ahead of him, beat Michael Penix, drafted ahead of him. It would be pretty cool if Jay just started knocking off all those guys. I also have a chance to go play Jaden Daniels. Then we'll get Drake May and Bo. I guess Bo Nix wasn't drafted ahead of him, but still, guys in his class. So we'll see. It's Garrett Russborough getting a question in there. I appreciate you, Brody. We also have Moonkus and Roger Bong coming in with the super chat. We appreciate you guys as well. We'll discuss those here in a sec. Lego Fella saying, I'm going to be at the Falcons game too. That's going to be an awesome game to be at, man. I don't know what would be – would you guys rather go Falcons Sunday night or Bengals at noon? I think I'll probably lean Bengals at noon just because you get to see Burrow, Chase, take on Jefferson and the boys. But – I don't know. The Falcons game is going to be awesome as well. As Moonkus saying, LFG, Skull Baby. I appreciate you, Moonkus. Shout out to you, man. As also Joel Robertson going to be at the home opener. So a lot of Vikings now faithful going to be at US Bank Stadium. Maybe you guys could get me a connection for I can blow the gal horn once in my life. That is my dream. As honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm still in this industry, is because I just want to blow the freaking gal horn eventually in my life. So, can you re-sign defensive coordinator? Yeah, the Vikes can extend them. Which is also something that may happen here shortly. And if we get any info on that, we'll obviously break it down. But I appreciate you, Moonkus, so much for supporting the show. And also Roger Bond coming in with a $10 super chat. Shout out to you, man, saying, what is our record this year and how far do we go? Preseason edition. Not to put you on the spot. I love getting put on the spot, Roger. I got the Vikes going 11-6, 12-5 this season. And this will be the year Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, they get that playoff win under their belt. Apparently, there is pressure within the organization. Like Kevin O'Connell, Alec Lewis is actually talking about it, that is something that almost they feel needs to happen this year, is them to win a playoff game. So I think they are. I really do. I think this is a stacked team. Now, NFC Championship, Super Bowl, it all that probably more comes down to J.J. McCarthy. If McCarthy pops and he's a top 12 guy right away in the league, then yes, the Vikings could very well be in the NFC Championship or Super Bowl. But even if he's a top 20 guy, I still think they could win a playoff game with how stacked their team is. Jason saying, if you blew the Viking horn, we'll bow down to you, Steve. So I just want to do it once, man. That would be awesome. That'd be pretty damn cool. So if anybody has a connection out there, please get me connected with that. As Skull for Life Barber saying, Chad, are you going to be at Skullfest this year? Yeah, I was I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'll make a weekend trip up to Minneapolis. Maybe. That would also be a lot of fun. It'd be good networking with you guys. So we'll see. Matthew saying, when do you think Metellus gets re-signed? I would hope before training camp. So, before July 20th, I think so. But, we'll see. We'll see. But we appreciate you guys sending those super chats. But coming up on today's show, we got a lot to break down. Could a big move be coming for the Minnesota Vikings? We'll talk about that. A couple of corners they could sign. Alec Lewis thinks they're going to bring in Gus Edwards, so we'll talk about that. And also some potential bad news. ESPN was writing up an article about some coordinators in the NFC North that could go leave for other head coaching jobs, and they actually mentioned Brian Flores and Josh McCown, so we'll discuss that. And then also a mailbag on the tail half of today's live show, so in about 35, 40 minutes or so. I just combined so and show. But yeah, we'll break that down. And if you guys are ready to go, hit that thumbs up icon. We're at 19 likes right now. Once we get to 25 likes, we'll dive into the first segment about the Vikings potentially signing a new free agent. Matthew Ellis saying, did you see Jair to the Ravens? Yes, we did. Good move for Baltimore. It's a low-risk, high-reward move. They signed him for $4.2 million, incentives to get him up to $6 million. If he's healthy, he's still one of the better corners in the league. And that game versus the Ravens, US Bank Stadium, that's going to be awesome. Lamar Jackson, Jair versus Jefferson, JJ taking on another Harbaugh. That'll be a lot of fun, too. Hopefully Jim doesn't give John the inside secrets on how to defend JJ, but, we'll see. Would you rather a healthy Asante Samuel or Jack Jones if you had to choose? Great question, Corey. We'll add that to the mailbag, but short answer there, a healthy Asante Samuel. Still shocked he's not signed. I guess that medical has to be really bad. Like that neck shoulder injury he's got, it's probably, more extreme than a lot of us think. But yeah, I'd probably go a healthy Asante Samuel on that. But we just crossed over 27 likes. Shout out to all of you guys. If you guys are ready to roll, give me a skull down below in the comments section. We'll dive into this first segment. Let's get it going. Let's talk about it. Could a big move be coming for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, we're going to discuss it on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in. So our good old friend Alec Lewis of The Athletic does great work over there, and he was given a 53-man roster prediction for the Minnesota Vikings, and he actually had one player that isn't on the Vikings, and he isn't on any team, and that being Gus Edwards. So we're going to go over 3 potential signings that could happen for the Vikes, being Gus Edwards, Asante Samuel Jr., and Jack Jones. He mentioned both of these guys as potential signings for the Minnesota Vikings to just help improve that cornerback position. So we'll talk about both those, but I will say, if the Vikes do end up signing Gus Edwards and he is on the 53-man roster, what a call from Alec Lewis. So we'll talk about all of this, but before we do so, make your move. Name a move the Vikings should make before training camp. That could be trading for a Jalen Ramsey, signing a corner, signing a running back potentially, extending Josh Metellus. Just give me one move that you want to see the Vikings make before training camp. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. All right, so Alec Lewis was just talking about a couple of potential moves that the Vikings could make, and this is what he had to say specifically on the cornerback room, saying the Vikings are more likely to add another player to the CB room, per Alec Lewis, and then also, when he was given his 53-man roster projection for the running back room specifically, he did have Gus Edwards on that. So we'll talk about Gus Edwards first, then we'll talk about those cornerback free agent targets that Alec Lewis mentioned. But quickly here on Gus Edwards, this past season for the Chargers, he had an okay year. We definitely saw the Chargers, and specifically the run game, take a hit when J.K. Dobbins left and Gus Edwards was the main tailback there, but he was still able to get 100 carries, going for 365 yards, 4 touchdowns, a long of 43. So listen, the stats aren't going to blow you away by any means, but I also do have some unfortunate news. As you guys know, I'm a Ty Chandler stan, and Alec Lewis actually unfortunately had Ty Chandler getting cut from the final 53-man, and actually Gus Edwards making the final roster. And this is what he had to say, saying, "Do the Vikings need another running back? No. Minnesota paid Jones, and Mason with the expectation that they'll platoon effectively. Behind those two, they still have Chandler in the final season of his rookie contract. Chandler showed flashes in 2023, but the Vikings have not felt comfortable giving him a bigger role. Considering the injury histories of Jones and Mason, as well as the expected reliance on the run game this season, why not add an experienced free agent as insurance? Edwards isn't dynamic, but he is a hammer. Most of his advanced metrics, rushing yards over expected, average yards after contract per carry, could make him an interesting addition. And as you guys know, I'm a big fan of rushing yards over expected. I think that's the best stat to evaluate running backs besides the eye test in the NFL. And I think Gus could just be a short yardage option for the Vikings. Like, let's just say, Aaron Jones has to miss a game here or there, or Jordan Mason has to miss a game here or there. You could just kind of plug in, Gus Edwards to be that guy to, on those 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 situations, which the Vikings have struggled with under Kevin O'Connell. Like, I remember we were making jokes on the channel during the games last season. The Vikings would come out in shotgun on every single 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 play, and it was like 80% of the time we felt like they were going to throw the football. Now, was that just Kevin O'Connell and his philosophy, or was that more of just the personnel and him not trusting, the offensive line and the running back to go pick it up? I think it could be a little bit of a combination of both, but I also think it was more about personnel. So if you would add in a guy like Gus Edwards, who, back in 2023, he was a short yardage demon, specifically around the goal line. He had 13 touchdowns that year, and, I don't want to bring up probably the darkest moment as a Vikings fan this past season, but that Lions game, Week 18, they could not run the ball whatsoever at the goal line. So adding another guy like that, I think could just help improve this room. And, unfortunately, that would leave my guy, Ty Chandler, on the outside looking in of the Vikings' final 53-man roster. Ty, they clearly don't trust him in blitz pickup. They clearly don't love him on special teams. And, obviously, with what Alec is saying, they probably don't really trust him to just be that running back to step in for Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones if they have to miss time. So I don't think running back is a need for the Vikings whatsoever. You have 2 top-end guys, but you could make the argument that, you could just use a little insurance at that position. But what say you on this one? Should the Vikings add another running back? You guys, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. I'm going to probably say, I think my Ty Chandler homer is going to, come out of here a little bit. I'm going to say no, but also wouldn't be upset if they did so either way. Now, we also had a report, this was coming in from Alec Lewis as well. He thinks the Vikings' backfield will lean to a 60-40 split between Jones and Mason in favor of Aaron Jones. So he thinks it's going to be 60% Aaron Jones, 40% Jordan Mason, and I think that's what it would be at the beginning of the year, but I do think at this point in their careers, I think Jordan Mason's more effective. I think when it gets, to colder football later on in the year, I think Jordan Mason would just naturally end up getting more carries, but at first, totally agree with this. I think it will be a 60-40 split in favor of Jones. It could even be higher of that, especially Week 1 against the Bears. But, we'll have to wait and see how Kevin O'Connell ends up playing that out. But I do want to tell you guys about a new product we have here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports, and that is Factor Form. Now, start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. Now, I have tried many greens supplements in the past, and I have swore I would never try them again until Factor has came into my life and has completely changed my thoughts on that. And most of us dread drinking greens, but Factor Form changed the game. You actually crave your greens. As a sister brand to Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is a greens powder by Factor Form you'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. With a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste that's actually enjoyable to drink, mix a single serve pack in water, and you're good to go. So I got that link for you guys in the comments section and description of today's show. But start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/VikingsChat for 40% off plus free shipping. Click that link, factor75.com/VikingsChat. All right, could the Vikings be adding another cornerback before training camp begins? Alec Lewis was, again, going through his 53-man roster projection, and he had something interesting to say about the cornerback room and the Vikings potentially signing another corner. This is what he had to say, saying, besides quarterback, this is probably the most uncertain position on the roster. Murphy is proven, and the Vikings feel strongly about what Rodgers and Okudah are capable of, but the rest of the depth remains a question mark. Blackman is returning from a torn ACL, but there are reasons to believe he could hold his own if he's asked to play regular snaps. McLaurin and Vaughn are undrafted players who have shown potential, but both need big training camps. Minnesota could still add a cornerback to this group, especially in the event of injury, and there are plenty of options. Jalen Ramsey and Jair Alexander are available. Obviously, this was written before Jair did sign with the Baltimore Ravens. So, there are some good options out there. He did mention a couple of guys like Jack Jones and Asante Samuel Jr. And if you guys remember, we did a show. It was actually the Score North guys. They got a anonymous tip saying that that apparently Asante Samuel was in a nightclub in Miami and he was wearing a Vikings hat. Turned out probably to not be true, but I do think there's a good point to adding depth to this room because I think you got a good 4 guys, and then you got 2 question marks in McLaurin and Zamia Vaughn. But I still like what Blackman could potentially bring. I still like Isaiah Rodgers. Obviously, you guys know I'm a big fan of Byron Murphy Jr., but I do think the question mark with this group is, one, like let's just say Isaiah Rodgers, say he ends up not working out, and that's not a good free agency signing. Like, who else is going to step up in his place? Like, let's just say he is, which I don't think is going to be the case. I also think Rodgers is going to be very successful with the Vikes. But, for example, if he has to go down for a couple of games or Blackman has to miss, like, are you really trusting like an Okudah, Zamia Vaughn, Dwight McLaurin to step in there? We'll see. But Asante Samuel, he's an interesting choice because that 2023 season he had was special. I remember we were talking about him being better than Byron Murphy. Obviously, Murphy outplayed him significantly this past season, but I remember we were kind of upset with how Murphy was playing, and then we also saw Asante Samuel playing very well, and a lot of people thought, man, like, maybe we should have just went out and got Asante, but I think it would be a good choice. I would choose him if he is healthy over a guy like Jack Jones, who Alec Lewis did connect to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Jack Jones, he loves to talk. He's a very physical corner. I think it would be a good scheme fit with Brian Flores. And, he actually had a pretty solid year for the Raiders last year in terms of, being a versatile corner. Like, I do think you can line him up on the line of scrimmage. He can, get to the quarterback in certain spots, but it's just a true coverage guy. He did struggle a little bit. 52.9 overall grade, 168 out of 222 eligible corners. So, not a whole lot to write home about. That's also why I would probably favor Asante Samuel over a guy like Jack Jones, but it would still be an interesting option. And again, this would just be depth. Like, the signings you're going to make in the summer aren't going to be any, needle mover by any means. Like, there's no guy out there where the Vikings could go sign and then it's like, oh, that guy's changing life here in Minnesota. And, I have confidence in the Vikings cornerback room, but I'd still like another addition. Whether that's Asante Samuel, Jack Jones, one of these guys, just to add more depth to this room would be extremely, extremely valuable because we also know Byron Murphy, he's a do-it-all corner. He can play outside. He can hop in the slot. And then you're really banking on it, Isaiah Rodgers taking that step, Mekhi Blackman taking a step. Hopefully maybe you get something out of a guy like Jeff Okudah. But it's still, I have some confidence in this room, but I still think just adding a little more depth would just kind of wrap this room up and just make it a little better than what it is right now. But I'll ask you guys this. If you guys want the Vikes to make another move, give me a skull down below in the comments section. I wouldn't hate it, man. I wouldn't hate it. So I'll be typing my skulls as well. But if you guys want the Vikes to make another move, drop a skull down below. Also, if you guys got any more questions on the Vikings roster, free agency additions, whatever it is, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter. That's a handle right there, at Pat Sieps. Hit me up over there, and we'll see y'all next time. As always, Skol Vikes. All righty, D. Warren coming in with a $100 super chat. What up, Brody? How you doing? Hopefully you're rocking that. I got your message on Twitter, rocking that Vikings hat in Chicago. That is that's awesome, man. Shout out to D. Warren, though, but a $100 super chat. If everybody could show him some love down below in the live chat, give me a Skol D. Warren down below saying, I honestly think Ramsey would love this system and team. I agree with you there. Maybe I'm sick in the head, but I think he has all pro potential still for at least 3 years worthy of a future third or fourth round, in my opinion. Samuel is more of a slot-ish. I think Ramsey can do it all. Totally agree with what you're saying on Ramsey. Like, he can, honestly, I could see Ramsey almost hopping into like a makeshift safety role on the tail half of his career. And yet, Samuel does work better in the slot. And, ideally, Flores would like to keep Byron Murphy in the slot. That's where he plays his best ball. But the only thing is with Ramsey is it comes down to, one, how much money are the Dolphins going to take on? Because if you're trading for him, you're going to have to take on that $20 million contract. Now, he doesn't have guaranteed money after his first year, which is, obviously huge. So if it does, end up not going well, you can just cut him and really have no long-term ramifications. But I don't know. I would be down for Ramsey. Like, if you could give up a future third or fourth, like, it's not a move I would be upset about. But I still think kind of the conversations there have kind of cooled off a little bit. Maybe the Vikings are holding off for him getting cut potentially. But also, I don't think that's really on the table for Miami. I think they could easily get a trade done with another team. But, yeah, I would 100% take Ramsey over Asante Samuel. But we'll see. But D. Warren, seriously, man, thank you so much. This really does go a long way here, especially during this time of the NFL calendar. So shout out to you, man. Everybody, please give me a scold D. Warren down below in the live chat, holding it down here on our weekly live show. But we also got Roger Bond coming in. What's going on? What is the crown number about? Crown number. Oh, in the comments. Yeah. So if you guys see, here, let me actually pull up the top fans right now. So like Roger, I don't know if you guys can click on it, but I think it's like however many times you comment, you like earn XP. It says here, I'll click on it. A little behind the scenes here for you guys. What's the leaderboard? A place for fans who stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points, or XP. How do you get them? Send live chat messages, send super chats, and super stickers. So I guess it's just however many times you comment. Like, Roger, you're number 1 right now in the live chat. JJ Prods is up there. Matthew, you're 3rd. Lee Hefner is actually in 4th. Munkus is 6th. Old Man versus Young Boy, I believe, is in 5th. So, yeah, YouTube, I never shut up. Yeah, YouTube adding some new features here. So, I'm a big fan of it. But, yeah, I guess the crown is just showing some love to the guys that are, hanging out in the live chat. So, that's pretty cool. Corey Miller, what's going on, man? Not as chatty this week. My bad. You are all good, my friend. Just sit back, enjoy the show. No worries about that. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in today, audience. Actually, a little better than I anticipated for a June 18th stream around the Minnesota Vikings. But, yeah. But what's you on this one? Should the Vikes add another running back? I would probably say no, but also if they did, I would not be upset whatsoever. As Tom is saying, hey, Pat, how you doing today? I'm doing all right. I actually am a little disappointed in you guys. We did a weigh-in the other day. What's your favorite sports movies of all time? We only got like 5 or 6 comments on sports movies. I was a little disappointed. I was expecting to see a whole lot down there. So if you guys could, what's your favorite sports movie of all time? Let me know down below in the comment section. I was looking for a movie to watch, and you guys didn't give me too many good answers there. But please let me know. Mine is Coach Carter. Dylan, I believe you said Sandlot, right? Sandlot's fantastic. Dylan, number 2 for you. And I'll try to come up with a number 2 option. Well, I put you on the spot here. Number 2, second favorite sports movie.
I could go today. It's the holiday event, Dodgeball.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely up there. Dodgeball is a good choice. Like Mike, 100% might be number 2 for me. I actually just rewatched that. I think it was a couple months ago. One of the best movies of all time. Longest Yard, that's up there. Trying to think like.
Miracle's definitely a good one too.
Miracle's definitely up there. Remember the Titans. Never seen The Replacements or Bullies of Baltimore.
Blindside's good until you realize that it's fake.
Yes, which was also didn't that come out? That was like last year or something like that. That came out. Yeah, that was very disappointing. Yeah, Blindside's a really good one. Slapshot, Happy Gilmore. I think the new Happy Gilmore is coming out soon. I believe. Let me actually look this up for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's July.
I think it is July. Yeah, July 25th. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, you got that one. Yeah, I originally said Coach Carter. That is by far my favorite movie of. Honestly, that's probably my favorite movie of all time. I have watched that 1,000 times probably. I would say another random movie that I'm huge on now is The Town. I absolutely love The Town. That's one of my favorites. But Rudy, yeah, Rudy's obviously an all-timer. Major League, yes. Do the Vikings play Dallas in Dallas? Yes, they do. Sunday Night Football. Vikes taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Dylan and I maybe we'll cook something up for that game. Maybe we'll get a little pregame tailgate there, work something out. As you guys, if you don't know, we are located in Dallas, Texas. But yeah, that should be a fun game. Vikings have actually had some success playing in Dallas recently, saying go to it and live stream it. Yeah, we gotta check with the bosses on that one, but that would be a lot of fun. All right, I appreciate you guys. And also, if you guys want to get a question in there for the mailbag, hashtag Vikings, or if you guys want to super chat to support the show, we do appreciate that as well. But we'll dive into this after this next upcoming segment. We're going to talk about some bad news, and also I want to give you guys my division predictions for the Vikes. I will say this, Dylan. Last year, I made a wager. So I had $200 in my DraftKings account, and I picked 6 division winners. It was the Lions, Bills, Chiefs, Ravens. I actually picked the Falcons heading into last year, and the Rams. Rams were like plus 195. I got 5 of 6, but I cashed that out right before, I think it was like week 16 or 17, because I didn't think the Falcons were going to end up winning it. Ended up making some good amount of money. So if you guys want to tail my picks, I'm kind of hot right now in the division bet land, but we'll see. Daniel saying, lived in DFW for 12 years, back in Minnesota now. Thanks for the content. No problem, man. Love the DFW area. It is gorgeous down here. Just really good time. Beautiful city. Fortunately, a lot of Cowboys fans down here, but that's all right. That's all right. Yeah, Cowboys fans are hiding right now. I don't know, dude. Schottenheimer's got the visor on. Tang Yang saying another game at Seattle. Every single year the Vikings play in Seattle somehow. It is incredible. I'm pretty sure it's like 7 of the last like 12 years I saw a stat that they played in Seattle. I don't remember the last time they have played the Seahawks at home. For sports, where does hockey land for you? That's a good question. Hockey's probably 4 for me. Right now, football number 1. I don't know if baseball's 2 yet. Baseball might be 2 for me. I don't know if right now. I am a Chicago Cubs fan, if you guys didn't know. I don't know. Maybe baseball's 2. I don't know. I also don't know if just because we're in the heart of the season right now. But hockey's probably 4. See, but the thing is, when your team is in the NHL playoffs, there's nothing better. How about the Florida Panthers? A little dynasty going on. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Corey's saying I struggle to watch baseball. I find it so boring. Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm a Cubs guy and the Cubs are absolutely electric this year. I've really enjoyed watching them. But yeah, I feel you. But also postseason baseball, when your team's in there, like you are living and dying with every single pitch. So I absolutely love it. But football by far number 1. But had to turn off the NBA Finals with SGA and his BS fouls. Guys, just seeing how it's officiated compared to the Timberwolves series, a little frustrating. But yeah, it was a crazy series for the NHL. I'm hoping Indiana can somehow get this to 7, but I probably think it's going to get wrapped up here in 6 games. As Corey's saying, you a soccer fan, Pat? Not really. A couple of my roommates in college were actually big Arsenal fans. So I would wake up 8 a.m. Saturday, Sunday morning. They're watching the game, so sometimes I'd watch with them. But yeah, not really. Not a big soccer guy. But Matty Ice saying, watch out for Jalen Ramsey trade to the Vikings. I hope you are right, Matty Ice. That would be pretty damn cool. But I don't know. We'll see. I think I don't know where Ramsey's going to go. This is honestly dragged out way longer than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be wrapped up by now. But yeah, he's still on the trade block. If the Vikings want to entertain that, they could definitely make a good offer to Ramsey and the Dolphins. But again, it's probably just draft pick compensation that's kind of holding up these deals. I'm sure the Dolphins probably want a third or a fourth. I'm sure teams are only willing to give up like a fifth or a sixth, and it's just kind of that back and forth that they have going on right now. Jude saying breakout season for UDFA. Zamia Vaughn incoming. Trust. Hey, 6'3" corner. Maybe he's the next Xavier Rhodes. I remember I used to ask you guys all the time, if you had to pick a former Viking to add to this team, who would it be? And I would always land on Xavier Rhodes. He was one of my favorite players ever to wear the purple and gold. He was awesome. Who do you think will perform the best out of all the UDFAs? I think Silas Bolden's a guy to watch out for. Obviously Zamia Vaughn, he's been impressing at camp so far, so watch out for him. Logan Brown, that swing tackle we got from Kansas, he was supposed to be a top 100 pick. Maybe watch out for him. But, yeah, Vikings UDFA class, they do it every single year. There's just a bunch of guys that just randomly end up popping. So, hopefully a couple of them make the roster, make some impact plays. Because, also there's a huge advantage. Ivan Pace on a UDFA contract. In terms of roster building, that's huge. You got a starter out of the UDFA class. But, yeah, Antoine Winfield would be up there. Joey Browner. How many yards do you think Jefferson will get this season? 1,364. Vikes should trade for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Well, we got the better version. We got J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. So, if the Vikings had Joe Burrow, they would be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. 110%. 110%. But we're going to talk about it. Potential bad news could be coming for Vikings fans. Not before this season, but potentially next season. And if Dylan, you're ready to roll, I say we dive into it. If you guys could also hit that thumbs up icon. We're 3 likes away from 50. That would be awesome if you could hit that. And let's dive into today's show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman. And could some bad news be coming for Vikings fans? ESPN put out a recent article suggesting some coaches on the Vikings staff could get poached next offseason. So we'll talk about Josh McCown, Brian Flores, and then also later, I do want to dive into every single division here in the NFL and give you guys my predictions. It is that time of the offseason. I'm fired up about it. I actually nailed a lot of my division winners last year, so I'm pretty hot. So we'll have to wait and see if my luck continues this season. But before we do so, if you guys could, hit that subscribe button today. We're calling this the Sam Darnold sub-battle here. They, obviously, the Seahawks brought in Sam Darnold, and we're going to try to catch Seahawks today in subscribers. I would love to. I sit right across, actually, from the Seahawks Today host, Tyler Jones. So that would be pretty cool if we could pass them in total subs. It's a lofty goal. We are 10,000, about 10,500 subs away. So if you guys could help us out, hit that subscribe button today. We post a video around your Minnesota Vikings every single day during the offseason, regular season, postseason. Does not matter. You guys will get a video from us every single day. All right, let's break it down. Could the Vikes lose Josh McCown and Brian Flores next offseason? Now, I have talked about this a number of times so far this offseason, that I felt like the Vikings kind of got lucky that McCown and Flores did not get poached this cycle, but I do think it could be on the table next year, especially if the Vikings are successful, and I think they will be defensively, and also if J.J. McCarthy ends up having a good year, I could see McCown getting a job as well, but it was actually our former good old friend, Courtney Cronin. Shout out to Cronin. She was writing up an article talking about some of the coaches in the NFC North that could get poached, and she had Brian Flores as hers, saying if the Vikings defense performs as well as it did in 2024, tied for first in turnovers, second in EPA per play, fifth in points allowed, expect Flores' name to once again circulate in the head coaching cycle. Flores interviewed for 3 jobs last year: Bears, Jets, Jags, and has been a head coach before with the Dolphins. Whether teams have the desire to hire Flores with his ongoing lawsuit against the NFL and the public fallout from his relationship with Miami quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, especially teams that have young quarterbacks or are looking to draft one, remains to be seen. And I will say, Courtney Cronin, miss you a whole lot. I thought you did a fantastic job covering the Vikes for ESPN. Now she's on to the Chicago Bears, but I just remember reading her articles all the time. Did a fantastic job, so shout out to Courtney Cronin. But I will say, this is the downside of being a good football team. Like, we all want our team to be successful. We want our coordinators to succeed. But this is the downside, where it's like you could get a coordinator poached here. You could get a coordinator poached here. Even a quarterback coach who is so valuable, and a guy like Josh McCown, when you are successful, these other teams are like, all right, what's cooking in Minnesota? Let's go take one of their coordinators or their coaches. And I fully expect also that this is Brian Flores' last season with the Minnesota Vikings. I think this defense is going to be top 5 yet again, if not top 3. Like, the additions of Hargrave and Jonathan Allen, they should make this unit a whole lot better, because I do think for the first time under Flores, they will be able to get home with just sending 4 guys. And the Vikings were 4th in the league in sacks last year with 49. You got to chalk up probably 20, 23 of those to just scheme sacks, whereas Flores getting really creative with his blitzes, and it wasn't really a whole lot of just like, hey, we're sitting back in the coverage, 4 guys rush to the quarterback, and they win their one-on-ones. That didn't really happen a whole lot outside of, like, obviously Grenard and Van Ginkel, but they couldn't get pressure from the interior. That should change, and with how unique Flores' system really is, and he's successful yet again, it's just so hard to prepare for. I'm sure a team, even with all the off-the-field nonsense with Flores and that lawsuit, I could still see them wanting to take a risk on him being their head coach. But also, Kevin Seifert, our new ESPN beat reporter for the Vikings, had Josh McCown being that guy, saying, as wild as it sounds, the 2024 season was McCown's first full season as an NFL assistant head coach. That is definitely wild. I did not actually know that. He opted against interviewing for offensive coordinator positions, but still got an interview for the New York Jets head coaching job. McCown has long been on the league's radar, having interviewed for the Houston Texans' top job in 2022. And if McCarthy performs well in 2025, McCown might be able to skip the coordinator level altogether. And I totally agree with that. If J.J. McCarthy has a monster year, there is a very, very good chance that Josh McCown is gone. Like, if you just replicate what Sam Darnold did last season, it may not have the, statistical production as Darnold, but let's just say the Vikes win 12, 13 games. McCarthy has a very good year. He very well could be gone. And honestly, I think that'd be a great hire. I think he's one of the smartest minds, and especially if you have a young quarterback, like, let's just say like the Carolina Panthers and Dave Canales, they have a terrible year, and they still maybe believe in Bryce Young. Why would you not go try to take a chance on a guy like Josh McCown or any of these teams that could be potentially drafting a quarterback? Like, let's just say even like the New York Giants. Let's just say this season goes terrible. They don't view like Jackson Dart as that guy. They don't view Dable as that guy. Maybe they say, hey, we'll go hire Josh McCown and we'll draft a quarterback, and like that's our new combination. So if McCarthy has a successful year, I'm fully expecting Josh McCown to be gone. But I still think the Vikes coaching staff just as a whole is top 3 in the league. But you guys let me know. The Vikings have the blank best coaching staff in the NFL. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I think it's probably second or third. I do think with the Eagles getting their offense, or Kellen Moore poached, I think with the Lions losing both their guys, probably only put the Vikings behind the Kansas City Chiefs as it stands right now. But hey, you guys let me know. Vikes have the blank best coaching staff in the NFL. All right, coming up next. Cannot wait. My NFL division predictions. We'll talk about it here in a second. But before we do so, I got to tell you guys about a new product we have here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports, and that is Factor Form. Now, start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat. And you guys will get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of green supplements, and I swore I would never try them again until I tried Factor Form. And most of us, we dread drinking greens. But Factor Form has completely changed the game. You will actually crave your greens as the sister brand to Factor Meals. Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is greens powder by Factor Form. You'll look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. With a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste that's actually enjoyable to drink, mix a single serve pack in water, and you're good to go. Daily Greens by Factor Form is made with real vegetables, packed with a whole serving of kale and spinach without tasting like it. So if you guys want to click that link in the comment section and description of today's show, check it out and start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/VikingsChat for 40% off plus free shipping. Factor75.com/VikingsChat. All right, let's do it. We're going to predict the 2025 NFL season. These are predictions. I want to get fun with this. I could just go and look at the Vegas odds and rank them if that's how you guys wanted it. But I am going to get bold with a couple of these. The NFL, it flips on its head every single season. You really never know who's going to be successful. We can start off with the AFC East. I still think the Bills are going to run it back. Might be the easiest division winner to predict, in my opinion. But I actually do think the Jets will be the shocking team of that division this season. I think Justin Fields, Aaron Glenn, I'm buying into that new culture over there in New York. Then I'm going to put the Patriots at 3. I think they'll be a little better. And then I think the Dolphins could be a tire fire this year, or a dumpster fire this season. So I'm going to put them at 4. And then we kick it to the AFC North. I still think the Ravens are going to win this division. An absolutely loaded team with an all-time great quarterback. And I think the Bengals will bounce back and make the playoffs. And I think Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, it's going to be more of the same with the Steelers. I think it'll be either 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, but still finish third in that division. Then the Browns, they're the Browns, so they're coming in 4th. But the AFC South here, I'm going to go the Houston Texans, number 1. Honestly, there's really no argument you can make to me where they're not winning this division. So I'm going to go them number 1. Then I'm going to go the Colts number 2. Talk about those quarterbacks who have fizzled out with their teams and then went to a new group and then kind of revitalized their career. I think maybe the same thing could happen with Daniel Jones. Like, very similar path to Sam Darnold, honestly, where Darnold was with Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, went to the Vikings, had an unreal year. Now, I'm not saying the Colts will win 14 games, but I do think with Shane Steichen, they still have a lot of weapons. I think they'll be good enough to come in second in a pretty poor AFC South. And they got the Jags and the Titans coming in at 3rd and 4th in that division. AFC West here. This is my probably my most bold one I have. I think the Chargers are going to dethrone the Chiefs. It's got to happen eventually. So I got the Chargers winning it. I got the Chiefs coming in 2nd. And then another shocker, I'm going to put the Raiders ahead of the Broncos. And this could be a situation where it's like Raiders are 9-8, Denver's 8-9, like the Chiefs are 10-7, Chargers are 11-6. Like, this division is absolutely loaded. It was tough for me to find a last place team. But I am going to bank on Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, Genty, Brock Bowers, those guys getting it done. But this division is loaded. I'll ask you guys this. Fire graphic by producer Dylan, by the way. This thing looks fresh. But give me a West for the AFC West or give me a North for the NFC North. I still think it's the North. Slightly, though. AFC West is loaded. I mean, think about the coaches in that division. Harbaugh, Reed, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll. It's stacked. Great quarterback play also with all of those teams. I would still go to the North, though. I just think the rosters top to bottom are just a little bit better. But, hey, you guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now, we're going to make a trend here in the NFL. We're going to have back-to-back division winners for the NFC East. I'm going to have the Philadelphia Eagles coming in 1st, Washington Commanders coming in 2nd. Then I do think the Giants, even though their schedule is brutal, their defensive line is absolutely loaded. And if you guys forget, Andre Patterson, still Dre, our good old friend of the Minnesota Vikings, he's their defensive line coach. So I think just purely off that, them having Abdul Carter, Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau with Andre Patterson being their D coordinator, I think they'll finish 3rd. And then I got the Cowboys finishing 4th. But we'll kick it to the NFC North here. I think it's be more of the same of last season. I'm just flipping the top 2 teams. Obviously, I have the Vikings winning this. I'm a huge homer. I'm drinking way too much purple Kool-Aid, but I think the Vikings will finish 1st. I couldn't, even if I truly believe the Vikings were going to come in 3rd, I couldn't put a graphic up on screen and say, Packers or Lions are winning it. So I got them finishing 1st. I still think the Lions will be pretty damn good this year. they'll come in second. And then last place, I was flirting with the Packers, but I'm still going to go the Bears. Question mark at head coach. Question mark at quarterback. They don't have a left tackle. I'm going to keep it simple. I understand everybody's freaking out. They're 3-time offseason champs. They have a good team, but this division's loaded. I don't think it's going to be shocking at all if the Bears, come in fourth yet again. But this is probably my easiest division to pick. Both South divisions absolutely stink. The Buccaneers will run away with this division. I am fully confident in this. They are plus 100 to win this division. So if you put $100 down, you'll win $100. Take advantage of that. They are winning this division. I got them number 1. Panthers number 2. I'm going to go Falcons 3, and then the Saints. Same thing as the Browns. The Saints are the Saints. So I'm going to have them coming fourth here. And then the NFC West, this was a tough one for me. I'm not going to lie. I still think the Rams will get it done. Just putting faith in Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford. They got Puka, Devontae Adams. I mean, that offense is going to be awesome. Still a very good offensive line. Still got Williams at tailback. So I got them coming in first. I'm going to go the Seahawks here. I don't know if this is, again, me being a homer, the Sam Darnold, but I will have them finishing second. And then I got the Niners at third. And then I'm going to put the Cardinals at fourth. I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be that good this season. But who knows? Anything can happen. But I appreciate all of you guys watching today's show. If you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit me with a skull down below in the comments section. And we really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skull Vikes. Fire graphic, Dylan. This looks sweet. I love this. The better division, that thing's fresh. I love that. What do you think, Dylan? Better division here. This is a very tough question. Like, there's no wrong answer for this one.
I'm going to say the North because I don't believe in the Raiders.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Still anti-Raiders, which, if the Raiders finish 5-12, will I be shocked? Absolutely not. Yeah, I still think I would lean the North, but I don't know. The Entertainer Talking Drugs saying, "Hey, Seeps, I'm happy you're hosting your own show, but I miss you on Giants now. By the way, F Marshy. Marsh would probably be happy at the Giants finishing third in that division if you were watching that." As Thomas saying, "Pat, did you see Jair to the Ravens?" Yes, we did. Good move for Baltimore, but yeah, both these divisions, man. I mean, loaded. It's gonna be fun. Dylan's gonna get accustomed to NFC North football. It's gonna be awesome during the year. I cannot wait. It's Trey saying W Dylan. Get the W Dills down below. Lost Sound coming in saying Panthers on top. Hot take. I love hot takes, man. I love hot takes. Yeah, I guess if you want to make the argument for the Panthers, they honestly do have a good offensive line. Spent big money last offseason. They have all types of weapons. Tet, Thielen, Leggett, Coker. They got some guys there, but the way the Panthers win that division is if Bryce Young, he's going to have to take a massive step. And I do think Bryce Young is slightly – it's so funny. It flipped where I felt like he was underrated during the year last year, and now I feel like it is like he's kind of overrated. I don't know. I'm not a big Panthers guy. Dylan, are you a Panthers guy at all? Could you maybe see it potentially?
I will say they lost Derek Brown for the entire season last year.
They did lose Derek Brown.
The fact that they're getting him back now, I think, will definitely help.
That's a great point.
In terms of them competing in that division, I could see them as a cusp wildcard team.
Right, yeah. Like when they show the graphic week 17, 18, like they're potentially on there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm a huge Buccaneers guy. I actually think they're a dark horse in the NFC. I think their offensive just the weapons they have are ludicrous. Like they drafted Ibuka, still got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. I think we all agree Baker's like a top 10 quarterback right now. Bucky Irving's a stud. Very good offensive line. They did lose Liam Cohen, but I still think they're just a loaded group. Also, Todd Bowles, one of those guys, one of the most underrated head coaches I think in the National Football League. But yeah, that's where I'll go with my division winners here. As Trey Brown say, my hot take: Chiefs finish fourth in their division. That will not happen unless Mahomes gets injured. Broncos on top, Chargers second, then Raiders third. Trey, I love the hot takes, man, but you almost just burnt the studio down. That is that might be a little too hot. Tom is saying if Lamar can't take them to the Super Bowl, there needs to be serious questions asked, in my opinion. Well, people are already asking questions about his postseason success, which I don't know. I heard somebody. I thought this was a freaking great point. Like if you ask your dad, like who's a better running back, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders? Like he would 100% say Emmitt Smith. But like for us, like guys, Dylan and I age, like if we just went and watched the highlights, Barry Sanders, we're like, how do you not say he is the best? I feel like I'm gonna have the same argument with my kids when they're talking about like Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Like hypothetically, if Burrow goes and like wins one and all that, like I'm sure like kids are gonna watch Lamar Jackson highlights and be like, how is this guy not the best football player of all time? But I saw that comparison and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, with Zazie saying Sanders all the way. Like Emmitt Smith was a better running back than Barry Sanders, but I don't know. Maybe that's just old heads talking, but we'll see. But we're going to dive into a mailbag here. If you guys got a question for me, hashtag Vikings or super chat to get up on today's show. Can you give your opinion on the Bengals front office? Stubborn. One word to describe the Bengals front office, stubborn. What if B-Flow goes to the Bears with Ben Johnson? Not going to happen, but I'd lose my mind. If like Brian Flores took a defensive coordinator job with the Bears, I would flip out. But that's not going to happen. His family loves Minnesota. He loves Minnesota. So, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. Yeah, get a question in there. Hashtag Vikings, as Lost Sound saying I would cry. I probably would too. Don't blame you. I cannot wait for the season, everybody. I had an awful take to Dylan the other day. I was like, this summer is gonna fly by. We'll be at football season, as soon as and that's just not the case. Every day feels like a week right now. I need it, man. I can't wait. Like, is this the most excited I think fans have been for a season in a very long time? I don't know. Oh, I love that question, Trey Brown. Appreciate you. Love that. We could talk about the NFL, talk about the Vikings, whatever you guys want. Think Cardinals would move on from Kyler? That's a good question. Like, I think if it goes really bad this year in Arizona, that could be on the table. And that could be where it's like Gannon's fired, they're trading Kyler. It's a complete reset in the organization. I don't know. Kyler's an interesting guy. Like, he's an all-time athlete. He was a top 10 pick in the MLB. Yeah, top 10 pick in the MLB, first pick overall. I mean, he's got to be the only person that's pretty sure ever done that. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a massive Kyler Murray fan. It was funny. Marshall Green, our Giants Now host, he was really testing me. He was like, all right, what quarterbacks would you take J.J. McCarthy over? I said about 85% of the league, and Kyler was one of those guys like, yeah, give me J.J. McCarthy. But what they don't know now, Dylan, later they'll understand. You may not know it now. Later you'll see the vision. I cannot wait. Big O Beast. Hot take. Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy would be 1 and 2 in MVP votes. That would be awesome. Could you imagine a Vikings-Seahawks NFC Championship game? I don't know if I would be able to go live for that. I think I would have to fake sick. Like, I would have to honestly fake a hospital trip and watch it there just to get out of doing that game. As XXX saying, Pat, did you hear Shador cited for driving 101? I did. Shador Sanders, not that shocking there. But yeah, not good. Not good. J.J. McCarthy MVP would hit harder than my dad's belt. Oh my God. Hell of a line from you, Corey Miller. You're bringing it today. It would hit. It would hit hard. That's good stuff, Brody. That's good stuff. But, all right, we're going to close off today's show with a mailbag. Get a question, super chat, and let's dive into it. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we got a mailbag for you guys where it's just me, it's you, it's talking about the Minnesota Vikings. It's my favorite show here. I do every single week on the channel, and you guys always bring it with some questions. And the guy that brought it during our live show was D. Warren, sending in a $100 super chat. Shout out to D. Warren. Really does go a long way. Also, I will say, if you guys do want to support the show in other ways, you can super thanks on videos. It's just a dollar icon down there. If you ever want to support the show, please feel free. We'll give you guys a shout out on the show. But yeah, D. Warren saying, I honestly think Ramsey would love this system and team. And maybe I'm sick in the head, but I think he has all-pro potential still for at least 3 years, worthy of a future 3rd or 4th round pick, in my opinion. Samuel is more slot-ish. I think Ramsey can do it all. Now, twofold here. I think 100% you're right. Ramsey would be a much better fit because I do think Ramsey offers a lot more versatility at this point in his career. You can put him in a makeshift safety role. You can put him in the slot outside. He can even play some makeshift linebacker for you if you want. And with Asante Samuel, like, he does thrive in the slot. And with Byron Murphy, like Flores, I mean, he said it all the time. Like, that's where he feels most comfortable deploying Murphy. So I obviously think the Vikes would prefer Ramsey, but the kicker is, 1, his contract. 2, you're going to have to give up some draft capital for him. But also the Vikings are in a spot you should be taking risk. You know, and maybe this is something they wait till the deadline, or maybe they wait for him to get cut potentially, even though I don't think that's going to happen. But I would be a fan of a Ramsey trade. I just don't know if the Vikings would. I wonder if they would rather go like the budget route and go get a Asante Samuel, like a Jack Jones, one of these guys. But hey, Alec Lewis said, watch out for the Vikes to make a move at corner. So we'll have to wait and see. Roger Bong, what's going on, man? What is our record this year, and how far do you think we go? Preseason edition. Not to put you on the spot, LOL. Roger, you can put me on the spot any single time you want, my friend. Record prediction. I've been floating between 11-6 and 12-5. I'll go the cautious route here. I'll go 11-6. And also, you know what I can't wait for? If the Vikings go 11-6 with JJ with a way harder schedule than they did last year, I promise you there will be takes out there saying the Vikings made a mistake getting rid of Sam Darnold. Just letting you guys know, if the Vikings don't win 14 or 13 games, people will say they made a mistake letting him walk out the door. But I think they're going to go 11-6, and then this is the year Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, they break through and they go and get that playoff win. It's going to happen. Now, if we're talking NFC Championship, if we're talking Super Bowl, it comes down to number 9. If number 9's balling, that's fully on the table. This team's good enough. This coaching staff is good enough. If you get that production out of the quarterback, it very well could be the case. Hopefully he's just a juiced-up Brock Purdy, and we have a little, San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl run. But, Roger, I got 11-6, and give me a playoff win for the Vikes. Corey Miller saying, would you rather have a healthy Asante Samuel Jr. or Jack Jones if you had to choose? Give me a healthy Asante Samuel. Like, he is still a very, very productive player if he is healthy. But the thing is, he's not. Like, there's a reason he's not signed right now. He's got a shoulder neck injury going on. But if he is, like, let's just say the medical's clear and it's like, hey, he's ready to go. He looks like his old self. You bring him in for a workout. Like, 110%, I'm taking Asante over Jack Jones. But, Corey, I appreciate you, Brody. Tomas coming in saying, #Vikings. Do you think Jordan Mason will become RB1 by the end of the regular season? I really do. And this is no slight on Aaron Jones. This is more of my love for Jordan Mason. I am a massive fan of his. I think he's a top 10 running back in the NFL. You look at all the advanced numbers. You just even go look at the eye test. This dude's a freak. He's a bowling ball. I think he is going to have a massive year. Honestly, if Jordan Mason was just a lone RB1 for this team, I could see him having a 1,300-yard season. I think he is that special. Plus, you combine that up with the offensive line. And also Jordan Mason just being that more, physical running back later on in the year. Like, let's just say you got to go travel. Vikes are going to Seattle. Let's just say it's a snowy, rainy game. You want to lean on that run game. I think that would favor a guy like Jordan Mason over Aaron Jones. Let's just say playoffs roll around and you got to go to Lambeau. You got to go to Philadelphia. You got to go to Washington potentially. Outdoors, cold football. I think that favors the archetype that Jordan Mason is at the running back spot over Aaron Jones. But I'm a massive Jordan Mason fan. But, yeah, I think he definitely will be. The Miracle Maker, Case Keenum, coming in saying, what is your favorite memory as a Vikings fan? Well, that's definitely up there. I will say that. Yeah, Minneapolis Miracle's up there. Let me try to think of, like, an obscure memory I have. for the Vikes. I don't know why. I just thought about the Teddy Bridgewater 5 touchdown game versus Chicago Bears when they're playing at the University of Minnesota. I thought of that one. Honestly, the Rudolph push-off win versus the New Orleans Saints, that's up there for me. Other favorite memories I got. Oh, that Adrian Peterson game, Week 17 versus Green Bay Packers, win and you're in the playoffs, and Peterson was 8 yards off the all-time record for most yards in a season. That's up there as well. And also, you guys let me know, what is your favorite memory as a Vikings fan, as I continue to think about this? I don't know. We got 2 playoff wins since 2009, so there's not a whole lot. A regular season game that I love. The Xavier Rhodes OBJ Monday Night Football, that's a favorite memory of mine. But yeah, you guys let me know. What is your favorite memory as a Vikings fan? Now we get to more of your questions around the Minnesota Vikings here in a second, but we got a new product here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. That is Factor Form. Now, if you guys want to start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form, head over to factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. Now, I've tried other green supplements in the past, and I swore I was never going to try them again until I found Factor Form's Daily Greens. Now, most of us dread drinking greens, but Factor Form has completely changed the game, and it has changed my life. You'll actually crave your greens. As a sister brand to Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is a greens powder by Factor Form you look forward to drinking. Just 1 scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. With a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste that's actually enjoyable to drink, mix a single serve pack in water and you're good to go. Daily Greens by Factor Form is made from real vegetables, packed with a whole serving of kale and spinach without tasting like it. In a blind taste test, Daily Greens ranked #1 in taste, texture, and aroma, beating out the biggest names in the industry. So start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/VikingsChat for 40% off plus free shipping. Click that link, factor75.com/VikingsChat. Tang Yang, holy cow. Love this question, Tang Yang. Cut, extend, trade. Justin Jefferson, Randy Moss, and Chris Carter. This is a messed up question, Tang. I'm cutting Chris Carter, unfortunately. Sorry about that, CC. Oh, man. Justin Jefferson or Randy Moss? Justin Jefferson or Randy Moss? Who would you guys choose? First off, help me answer this question. Give me an 18 or 84 down below. I'm going Jefferson. I think Jefferson's going to be an all-time great. I'm a younger Vikings fan. I'm sure when you guys watched Moss in his prime, he was just a different breed. But I'm going to go, you extend Jefferson, you trade Randy Moss for 5 first-round picks, and Chris Carter, I'm going to have to cut you, unfortunately. But Tang Yang, what a fantastic question. The Lost Sound. Do you think Ty Felton gets some touches this year? Yeah, 100% I do. I mean, you spend a 3rd-round pick on a guy that, he's got all types of talent, and especially if Addison is going to get suspended. Like, he will be in the rotation during the first couple of weeks while he is serving that suspension. But even when he's there, I don't think it's a guarantee by any means that Jalen Naylor is a surefire, wide receiver 3. I'm sure there's games where Ty Felton's getting in there, but that would definitely be a battle. Ty Felton, Jalen Naylor, watch out for that during training camp. Watch out for that in the preseason. But, yeah, him just getting touches, he's too explosive with the ball in his hands to not get him touches. So, Lost Sound, good question, but 100%. Big O Beast. probably the hottest take ever. Saying a hot take: Sam Darnold and J.J. McCarthy would be 1 and 2 in MVP votes. Could you imagine that? that would actually be awesome. It'd just be like a Vikings fan dream for a season, I think. Like Vikings Seahawks NFC Championship would be unreal. You know what's a doomsday Super Bowl for Vikings fan? And I had this thought the other day, and I have not shared it yet. And by any means, there's very little chance this happens. But what if it's a Steelers-Seahawks Super Bowl? And it's Sam Darnold versus Aaron Rodgers, and the Vikes are like 6-11, 7-10. Oh my God, we will be clowned on by everybody for right reason if that ends up being the case. Like, we would question the evaluators in the Vikings organization. But that's definitely a hot take. Hopefully J.J. McCarthy's won in MVP votes there. But Tom Lyles coming in. What would it take to trade for Puka Nacua? It would take a whole lot. I mean, the Rams probably, and the Rams value Puka Nacua just as much as the Vikings value Justin Jefferson. Like, especially with Sean McVay, that system, you got to be able to block on the outside. He's one of the best run blocking wide receivers in the game. I think Puka is honestly one of the most underrated receivers in the National Football League. I think he is borderline top 5, if not that 5th spot. But to take a trade for Puka, like, it would probably be Jordan Addison because they would want a receiver back and 2 first. You would need to overpay. Am I saying Puka's worth that? I don't know, but just with how valuable he is in that organization, probably take a whole lot. Lost Sound, what up, man? Panthers on top, hot take. Yeah, we're doing my division rankings. If you guys saw that show from early on this week, but he had the Panthers win the AFC South. I mean, it's definitely like on the table. I just think the Buccaneers are going to run away with that division. I think they're actually a dark horse to win the NFC. I love Baker. I love their offensive personnel. Good O-line, fantastic weapons. Honestly, if you had to take a wide receiver trio, a running back, and a tight end, I could make the argument that the Buccaneers are number 1. Cade Otton, I think he's the most underrated tight end in the league. Don't get mad at me for saying this. I'd rather have Cade Otton than TJ Hawkinson. I think Bucky Irving, I'd rather have him than Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones. And then the 3 wide receivers, like, yes, I would take Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson over Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. But their third guy being Emeka Egbuka, that's disgusting. So, yeah, I think the Bucs are going to win that division. But who knows? Maybe a Bryce Young breakout could potentially get them on top. Trey Brown saying, #Vikings, can you do a full episode with you and Dylan talking about the Vikes? 100%. I would, maybe that would be like a little podcasty. Like, maybe it's me and Dylan sitting down in a studio with just 2 mics and just chopping it up about, the Vikes, the whole NFC North. Maybe we'll do, I do want to do this show eventually, like predicting, like kind of what we were doing earlier, like predicting like every division winner, like predicting every single award, and then like predicting how the playoffs are going to go. I think that'll be fun because then it's like we got it on video. Like, then we can kind of see how it does throughout the whole year. But yeah, if you guys are down for that, 110%, that will be on the table. But shout out to you, Trey Brown. Appreciate you, Brody. If you guys also want to hit me up on Twitter for any more questions around the Vikings, if we did not get to your question here on the show, hit me up over there. That's the handle, @PatSieps. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes. All righty. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Great mailbag questions from all the real ones. Yeah, but Dear Hollow, I do think it's going to be Jordan Mason by the end of the season. Yeah, this was a messed up question. That was messed up, man. Jefferson or Moss. See, the thing is, it's tough with Jefferson because I don't think he's hit his prime yet. I think he's right around there. I don't know. Tang Yang saying, I made Tom Grossi weep when I asked him the same thing. Favre, Starr, and Rodgers. That's a fantastic question. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Jefferson and Moss, like, those are 2 of the best to ever do it. And also, I think Chris Carter is one of the most underrated receivers of all time. Like, he's a top 10 guy ever. And It's crazy, though. Vikes could have potentially 3 top 10, like, undisputed wide receivers of all time when it's all said and done with Justin Jefferson. But, yeah, Tang, that was a messed up question, Brody. May have to ban you from asking questions again. Just kidding. But imagine if Moss' career, if Culpepper knee injury didn't happen. Exactly. Imagine Jefferson's career if he had a legit quarterback, which hopefully he does. Now with J.J. McCarthy. I think Cade Otton has a down year, and I think Josh Oliver is the most underrated. Oliver's definitely up there. Like, if you ask, like, common NFL fans, who's Josh Oliver, I actually don't think a lot of people would be able to know who that is. But yeah, best run blocking guy, and he obviously took a step in the receiving game last year when Hawk was out. But Harrison Smith or Paul Krause, well, I'm younger. I didn't watch Paul Krause, but I'm going Harry the Hitman. Harrison Smith, most underrated safety of probably the last 15 years. Jim Marshall for Hall of Fame. He better. Hopefully they'll do that this year. They'll put him in the Vikes Hall of Fame. Or he might already be there. I'm guessing he actually might already be. But yeah, we appreciate all of you guys for watching today's live show. We are going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much. Corey Miller, Tang Yang, Roger Bong, D. Warren, thank you so much for the $100 super chat again. That was awesome stuff, dude. All right, one more. Brett Favre, Fran Tarkenton, Dante Culpepper. I'm starting Favre. I'm cutting Culpepper and Fran to the bench. That's what I would do. But, all right, I appreciate you guys. We're going to hop on out of here. See y'all next time. Skol Vikes.